Uh-oh, MAGA Mike Johnson. Speaker of the House MAGA Mike Johnson is panicking right now as the Epstein cover-up by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans becomes a major issue that is bringing down this Trump regime. So MAGA Mike Johnson yesterday in the House of Representatives, as the MAGA Republicans were voting on a rescission bill to defund PBS and NPR and remove more money from foreign aid. The total rescission package was about $9 billion. MAGA Mike is asked about the releasing of the Epstein files and the list. And MAGA Mike, I just want you to watch this. He's like, we're going to release the things. I'm fully aligned with Donald Trump's plans to make sure that the American people get to see it. Okay, this was yesterday when he's saying this. Donald Trump's been saying that Epstein's a hoax and it was created by Comey. And now you're saying, oh no, we're going to release all of this stuff. And by the way, at the same time, MAGA Mike is saying this, the MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives this happened yesterday, are voting against the release of the Epstein files. So let's come with receipts here at the MeidasTouch Network and let me show you what went down. First, here's MAGA Mike Johnson. Just watch how this guy lies. I mean, a sociopath. Here, play this clip.
Epstein files from the grand jury.
Yeah, look, I think he's been very consistent. He wants to release all credible information and evidence, and that's in furtherance of his goal and what he stated. That's the position of all House Republicans, everybody in the party that I know. We trust the American people; they can draw their own conclusions. So he's in the process of releasing the information that can be released. That's not held up by a court or involves, victims of crimes or something like that.
And then Mr. Speaker, have you seen any comment on the Wall Street Journal report about the letter that President Trump sent to Jeffrey Epstein years ago?
I haven't seen it. I can't comment on it.
Okay. Well, now let me show you what actually happened in the Rules Committee, where you will see yesterday. I think this is the fourth or fifth time the Democrats said, let's release the Epstein files and the lists and all of the files. And by the way, the Democrats even aligned with a group of about 9 or 10 Republicans as well. Like Thomas Massey, for example, the MAGA Republican Congressmember from Kentucky and others. And they said, okay, we have enough to release the files. Let's do this. But the Rules Committee protecting Donald Trump, controlled by the MAGA Republicans, Virginia Fox is the MAGA Republican lady who runs this committee. They vote it down and they prevent it from even getting a vote. I want you to watch this, play this clip.
The question is on the amendment from Mr. McGovern. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. No.
I ask for
In the
roll call.
opinion, Chair, the noes have it. The amendment's not agreed to. The clerk will call the roll.
But see, now I want to show you, I want to dig deeper into the mischief that the MAGA Republicans are doing. So in order to try to give themselves cover, what they wanted to do was put forward a non-binding resolution that, by the way, they didn't even put for a vote, but they said there's this non-binding resolution that the House Republicans are good with, where they said you can provide for the public release of certain documents, records, and communications relating to the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. But what it uses here is it says it uses the term credible information. And so what's determining what is credible or not credible is ultimately going to be decided by Donald Trump. No later than 30 days after the date of enactment, the Attorney General shall, subject to Section B, make publicly available in searchable and downloadable format all credible, look at it, documents, records, and communications. Now, do you understand? First off, it's a non-binding resolution, but Trump's already said the entire thing is not credible at all. So what do you think they're going to produce? It's going to be Pam Bondi cherry picking things, and it's not even binding that she's required to do it. Also, it has a section in this non-binding Republican resolution called permitted withholdings. And when you look at it, It says that the Attorney General can withhold information if it would violate Rule 6E of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure by disclosing information that reveals the identities of witnesses or jurors, the substance of testimony before the grand jury, the strategy or direction of the grand jury investigation, or the deliberations or questions of the jury. So last night, after Donald Trump got totally panicked, one of the things that he said is, I'm ordering Pam Bondi to, that you can go and try to release some of the grand jury testimony of in the Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein case. But the grand jury testimony, as you just saw under 6E, is the type of information that is normally withheld. And also the grand jury testimony would constitute like 1% of the file, and it would not have to do with the other individuals involved in the sex trafficking ring. It would just deal with Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein. But I just read for you right there that a permitted withholding is grand jury testimony, as Trump's like, well, I guess some grand jury testimony, can be released if it's credible grand jury testimony. And it's ultimately going to be whatever the hell Donald Trump says. All right. Now bringing you to the House floor, you then have Democratic Congressmember McGovern. He's like, let's be clear what's really happening here. Play this clip.
Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, my head's about to explode. That guy just voted to increase the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. And trying to blame Democrats for Jeffrey Epstein. Who was president when Jeffrey Epstein died in his cell? Donald Trump. And who's in charge now and blocking the release of the files? Donald Trump.
Now here's Congressmember McGovern again. Let's play it.
We're going to require some time to be able to digest whatever it is, because and again, in defense of the reporting that there was a furor. I mean, it is 6 o'clock, and we thought we would be meeting early this morning. So clearly, there's been some angst amongst Republican members of this committee. But let me
don't flatter yourself too much. There's not a whole lot of angst over here.
Yeah, it's curious that we're meeting at 6 o'clock.
We're looking forward to passing the rescission package. I can tell you that.
Now here's Democratic Congresswoman Stansberry. Let's play it.
Mr. Speaker, you guys are so weak that you won't even vote to release the files. It's 11:20 p.m. in the middle of the night, and
Gentlelady will
once again,
suspend.
The
gentlelady will suspend. The House is not in order.
Agenda through Congress and the dark.
The gentlelady will suspend. The House is not in order.
So you have in the committee, you have Democratic Congress member Scanlon. And then you'll see how the MAGA Republican Congress member Ralph Norman responds. And he says that, the story we've been talking about on the MeidasTouch network that the Wall Street Journal broke, that 2003 letter that Donald Trump wrote to Epstein for Epstein's 50th birthday book that Ghislaine Maxwell prepared, where Donald Trump's like, we both love our little secrets. Our young enigmas, Donald Trump says. And you know what I'm talking about. Our young enigmas and our little secrets, Jeffrey. Like that's like basically what it says in the letter to Epstein. And then Donald Trump drew like a picture of a naked girl. He like doodled it. And it's like, I don't do doodles. I don't draw. And like, there's all these other doodles and drawings that Donald Trump has. And he's like been known to like doodle and draw photos. And so Ralph Norman, the MAGA Republican, goes, that's all AI. Donald Trump says that's AI and not real. Here, play this clip.
There's a little additional context that's been added. So I'd seek unanimous consent to enter a Wall Street Journal article dated today, July 17th. It was released at 6:45 p.m. after we started here. It's entitled, Jeffrey Epstein's Friends Sent Him Bawdy Letters for a 50th Birthday Album. One was from Donald Trump, and there's a fairly interesting, some might even say titillating article attached. But so I would seek unanimous consent to enter that in the record.
Without objection.
Thank you. And I think it really goes to the question that is sort of consuming the country at this point, which is, what did the president know and when did he know it?
Thank you, Ms. Scanlon. Does any other member wish to speak? Mr. Norman.
As the chair brought up, this is really kind of hypocritical for y'all at this point. You've had 4 years to bring it up. Where was your inquiry then? Where were the facts? As you know, the public's not letting this die. This is coming out. And so as that article, now the president's saying it's artificial intelligence, that will be proven in due time.
Yeah, and things were getting very heated in the Rules Committee as well yesterday. Play this clip.
We were already in this room when you signed it and put it in. It was a political stunt. That's all it was, and we're going to give you a solution to it.
And if you read the amendment, Mr. Scott, you would realize that there are exceptions to protect the victims of these crimes. And by the way, our language has been out.
No, there are not. There are not.
In the Massey counter bill, there are.
That is not what you offered. That is not what you offered. You said all the files, and we have a responsibility to protect the victims.
Mr. Scott,
and we know where you are.
Yeah, we know where you are, Mr.
You're the party of child victims. That's why you opened the border. That's why you opened the border.
And Democratic Congressmember McGovern makes a really good point right here when he says, you know, either there's nothing here and Trump and you have all just made this up to lie and grift off of the suffering of victims, or you're covering up a sex trafficking ring. Here, play this clip.
Why would anyone vote against releasing files that we've been told, by the way, by the president, by your attorney general, by your director of the FBI, by his deputy director? We have been told by them that these files show the identities of those who knew that Jeffrey Epstein was sexually abusing children. So I hope all of you had a chance to consult your constituents and your conscience, and I hope that you will vote with us when I again offer a simple amendment to release the files. Because either one of two things is true. Either one of two things is true. Either there's nothing here, and Trump made all this up and conned you guys into believing it. In that case, you know, why would you vote against releasing files that don't exist? Or there are files, and you guys want to keep them hidden because you're afraid what's in them. Which is it? Which is it?
Now you have MAGA Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, who said the following: "Thank you, Bondi. While others were busy trying to knife the president, this was quietly in the works behind the scenes. Now the real question, will any reporters finally cover the FBI destruction of Epstein evidence under the former deputy director of the FBI during the Biden administration? Enjoy phase 3. It's going to be the coup d'etat." Dude, what are these Republicans? What the hell are they talking about? So you're saying Biden deleted the Epstein file? That's what you're going with now? Phase 3 of the coup d'etat? I mean, these people are these Republicans are like nutso. These are nuts human beings. I don't know how to describe it. These people are freaking nuts. And then you have MAGA, MAGA Republican Anna Paulina Luna. You just saw that. Here's Steve Scalise, MAGA Republican, and he's like, interesting that the Democrats are talking about Epstein. The Democrats are the ones being exposed right now. We've exposed you with the Epstein files. We'll play this clip.
Interesting how they talk about Jeffrey Epstein, because for 4 years, Mr. Speaker, President Joe Biden had those files, and not a single Democrat that you're hearing tonight tried to get those files released. And so the House Republicans are working to do that. And of course, they're in a tizzy, Mr. Speaker, because they're finally being exposed for covering it up for 4 years. And so let them continue to come up and talk about all the deficit spending that they created.
And then Congressmember McGovern's like, cover up? What the hell are you? Am I in the Twilight Zone? Here, play this clip.
Mr. Speaker, let me go back to something the gentleman said in his long and rambling speech. He talked about a cover-up. Let me just say to him, who's doing the cover-up? You guys are in charge. You control the White House, you control the House, you control the Senate. Get a grip on reality, for God's sakes. Either you don't want to know the truth because you've been conned by Trump and there's nothing in the files, or you're afraid that there might be something in the files. So you're in charge. Oh, and by the way, I was hoping the majority leader would tell us when he's going to schedule the vote on his meaningless bill on the Epstein files. But I think we'll have to wait till he gets back on the floor.
And finally, you have Democratic Congressmember Ro Khanna. Here's what he has to say. Let's play it.
Mr. Speaker, the American people, Republicans, Independents, Democrats, want the Epstein files released with the victim's identity protected. Now, most people don't understand how this town works, so I'm going to try to explain this really simply. Congressman Massey and I introduced a bipartisan bill to release all the Epstein files and to make sure victims were protected. There are 10 Republican co-sponsors of that bill, including MAGA stalwarts like Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, including Lauren Boebert, including Tim Burchett. And we have the votes tonight to pass it. But what happened is in the Rules Committee, they don't want to have this vote tonight because they know they're going to lose, because they know their own members want to vote for it. What's even sillier is they have this non-binding resolution. So I thought, surely we would vote on a non-binding resolution. They don't even want to vote on the non-binding resolution in case Donald Trump gets slightly offended. They don't even want the vote on the non-binding resolution tonight.
And by the way, here's his also point about releasing grand jury testimony. If you could even release it. Here, play this clip.
He's paying attention and he said, okay, let's release. He directs the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, let's release and ask the courts to release the grand jury testimony. Here's the problem. The grand jury testimony is largely about Epstein and Maxwell, not about all the rich and powerful men who abused, assaulted, and abandoned young women. Those people are still being protected. And by the way, the courts usually don't release grand jury testimony. But you know what? The president is hearing the American people. And the president knows that if there's a vote tonight, this body overwhelmingly would vote for the release of the files.
30 seconds.
Additional 30 seconds.
30 seconds, because I need 10 seconds. This question is, whose side are you on? Today, the Democrats are on the side of the people. The Democrats are on the side of the children. There are 10 Republicans who are on the side of the people and the children, but the entire Democratic Party is on that side, and the Republicans have chosen to protect the rich and powerful men who've abused our children. It's wrong, and that's the clear difference tonight.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe and let's get to 6 million subscribers. Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.